Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your hosts, Mike
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. YPN people, I don't know about you, but I love helping out a friend. That's why I want to shout out my friend Brian Little and his podcast, Your Favorite Blockhead. This is the only show that manages to weave together peanuts and MMA into one heck of an amazing podcast. You can find Your Favorite Blockhead wherever your favorite podcasts reside and at yourfavoriteblockhead.com. Do me a huge favor and listen to Brian's show. You'll be entertained and you'll help out a friend. Now, as I said, let's get into today's topic. So what I saw at the Ducks game was quite literally, now you wait up, this was quite literally rad.
What? Are you talking about how RAD happened?
RAD happened. I couldn't believe it, but it happened.
Now, I don't know how many episodes ago it was, but I know it was number 402, where we talked about how I was going to make RAD the word of the year. It didn't happen. 2021 is long past. However, RAD happened on a big, giant scale. RAD was on the, Jumbotron? What do you call that stupid thing?
Yeah, the Jumbotron.
At the Ducks game. In terms of excitement, they were trying to encourage fans to cheer, and the word RAD.
Yeah, which was rad.
It was so satisfying.
I know, and you know what? I still say that you're within the year because, I mean, you're talking about maybe 5 months ago that you said that.
It was
maybe.
in July, I think.
Yeah, it's maybe 5 months ago. And so you obviously didn't mean just till the end of 2021. You obviously didn't mean just until the end of 2021. So, well, but even if you did, you're only off by a couple of weeks. Like, you did great. That was quite the prediction right there.
Well, I'm pretty proud of the fact that it happened. And who knows? You know, I've chatted with enough people on that Bumble Friends app in this area that I very
Don't even get me started on that thing.
We'll talk about that another night, okay?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
While I was trying to make RAD happen, and using the word RAD in my conversations, I very well could have talked to somebody's sister or girlfriend or, you know, and they could have ratted at the dude who wrote the RAD on the Ducks board.
It's true. You know, I told you this, and I'm just putting this out there as proof that we had this conversation, but I told you that you could easily claim that was up there because of you. And even if they've been using it all season long in their marketing, you can claim it was there because of you. Someone heard it, they liked the word, they thought it fit the Ducks like vibe, and it actually does fit their vibe.
Because they're kind of dorky.
Yeah, and it's kind of rad how well RAD fits the RAD Ducks. But
we both know, you and I both know, I was trying to make RAD happen at least 6 months before we had that conversation on the podcast.
See, I like the Ducks for one reason and one reason only.
Because your kids like the Ducks?
Because my kids like the Ducks. If my kids didn't like the Ducks, I would have left them, and I'd only be a Vegas and Winnipeg. And that's it. I'd be done.
Well, you have to be a Winnipeg fan, just like I have to be a Vegas fan.
Well, exactly. It's for you. But, you know, somebody needs to talk to our flippin' president of the United States, Joe Biden.
Dear God, what did he do now?
This guy, man, with a hot mic in front of him, says that he's going to take questions only on the topic, and the topic was inflation. So they asked, bro, do you think it will be a political liability this inflation as we got right now. And
not word for word.
Not word for word, just paraphrasing. And Biden says, pretty much word for word, wow, more, just what we need, more inflation. Quite an asset, more inflation.
Yeah.
Stupid son of a bitch. And I'm like, what the hell? This president of the United States just called him stupid son of a bitch.
On TV.
I'm sure that everybody is going to be outraged, but the Republicans will have his back because the Republicans had Donald Trump's back. So, of course, the Republicans are going to have his back, but his own party's going to eat him alive.
You know what?
But you know what happened?
The opposite.
Nobody even cared.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? There are a lot of Republicans talking about Joe Biden and his stupid son of a bitch. And they're all saying that, why was this only a problem when Trump said it? They're not saying that what Joe Biden did was wrong. They're effectively just chastising the liberals. And I think that's hilarious.
I actually really like that approach in politics to just basically go, look, I'm no matter what, I'm going to get to say my say, and I'm going to get to point out your hypocrisy because I'm going to own my previous decision.
And condone this.
And even not even talk bad about him. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about you, Nancy Pelosi. I'm talking about you, Chuck Schumer. Those are the people I'm talking about, bro. What's your problem? You talked all kind of mad shit about Mr. Donald Trump when he said stuff like that. And, in my opinion, they're equal. They're totally equal. And I had no problem with Trump saying it. I really don't have a problem with Biden saying, if that's what he thinks the guy is a son of a bitch, well, then
just own it.
And then he called him later and told him, he didn't apologize, but he told him, it's nothing personal, son.
Which is just asinine, really.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, that was kind of his, come on, babe. That'd be like you being mad at me because you said, don't leave the empty soda bottle on the table. Don't do it. I'm tired of it. And I look right at you and I drink it and I put the thing there and I walk away. That's like a big middle finger to you. That's what that is when you do stuff like that.
If our president was capable of that, the world would not be pushing the boundaries as much as it is right now.
Well, and that's exactly it. I think one of the things that people can't forget right now is that there's an environment out there where there's not a lot of respect for the leader of this country.
Yeah.
There's just not a lot of respect for him. And I actually feel like it's well-deserved that he doesn't get respected because I felt the same way with Trump. Trump would be demanding that he get respect. Sorry, bro, you have to earn respect, and you haven't earned my respect. I will defend either side when they're right, and I will speak out when they're wrong. But, I don't know. Biden has swung so far to one side that I can't align with anything that bro has to say. I just can't align with it.
Well, he is kind of a nut job.
But then it creates this environment where society in general goes crazy. I was listening today, and I was leaving here, and I had flipped it to AM, and so I was listening to KFI, and I don't remember where the hell I was going. I think I was going to therapy.
Probably.
And I was going to therapy.
You haven't gone anywhere else today. So.
And exactly, that's what I was thinking. I didn't go anywhere else. So I was going to therapy, and I'm listening to this show, and they're talking about this police officer she used to be a police officer, and she was forced to quit the police force. They gave her $30,000 and asked her to leave because she had an OnlyFans, and she did it under a pseudonym, and she did everything she could to keep herself private. She didn't tell anybody about it. That's probably why she wasn't making as much money. She made
You said she was making $4,000 a month.
$4,000 a month, which is
as a completely unknown person. That seems
decent.
like
It's decent. I mean,
that's pretty awesome.
But long and short of it is, they started, making fun of her and talking about like, you don't, you put that stuff out there. So what kind of privacy are you seeking? Because she's suing. And what she's suing about is that they took away her career. She was perfectly happy with that career. All because of something that she did everything she could to hide it, that she's doing on her own time off. If she went and decided to take stripper pole classes, they would not fire her for that.
It's not like she was filming the OnlyFans in the backseat of her police cruiser.
Exactly.
With her badge number visible.
And it was 100% off duty. 100% off duty. So, that poor lady goes through all that. And then she's got these talk show hosts shaming her and talking about how, she has a 12-year-old and a 15-year-old. And I guarantee you they know about this OnlyFans thing. Well, so what? She does it with her husband. They've clearly decided as a couple that they're okay with that.
Right.
And you can agree, you can disagree. I don't really think any of that matters. I really don't. You can agree or disagree. But they get to choose how they raise their kids. They get to choose that. As long as they're not, raping the kids, taking advantage of the fact that they're kids, the obvious crap, they get to make their parental choices.
There's nothing illegal about doing what they were doing on OnlyFans, right?
Correct.
So then what would be the harm in their children knowing what their job is?
Correct. I agree.
And my guess, if you're the kind of parents who are going to do OnlyFans together, you're probably also the type of parents who have a more comfortable and open relationship with their kids about that kind of stuff.
Well, and especially a 15 and a 12-year-old. I don't see either one of those as an inappropriate age to talk to a kid about mom and dad make, this money we go on vacation with, mom and dad make that by doing porn, private porn for people. And that's literally what they're doing.
And it may traumatize them when they say it, but they'll get over it. And then
at least they'll have respect for them for being honest.
Well, and then when some kid's dad finds that at school, and some other kid, and the kid overhears, their poor kid doesn't have to be super embarrassed just finding out. Then they can be like, yeah, and
so what, right? What's the problem? And since they won't react all emotionally,
it'll go away.
They can handle it, and it'll just go away.
Right. It's why my parents, I don't think, ever hid from me or the rest of the world, really, that I was adopted.
Because
it's not traumatizing at all.
Ouch. I'm going to say something that I didn't anticipate going there with, but before we go there, let's just say this. I think that police officer lady got railed, like, in more ways than one. She got railed. She got railroaded by the city. I mean, they know that they were in the wrong, because here's how they know they were in the wrong. They gave her $30,000 to say
go quietly,
go away. And so I think she's right, and she should get some compensation from them. And, that's that. That's what I think about that. So,
especially since she can no longer ever have a career in law enforcement.
Yeah, exactly. Because she's essentially been dismissed, and she has to answer that question. Were you ever fired? She has to answer that with a yes.
Exactly.
It makes me angry that she and her family were put in that situation.
And now that she's been put super public,
now she's making like $6,000 a month as a solo person.
Yeah.
$6,000 a month. Yeah. So she's probably actually making more like $12,000 a month, because she's probably also making $6,000 a month with the husband.
Right.
So that's holy moly.
But also, if she were to encounter criminals, they're not going to take her seriously. You'd be like, "Oh, you're the one that was on the news, the OnlyFans model," because you know how people are. People are like. So even if she'd wanted to go back to her career as a police officer, she can't.
She'd be a high risk for getting killed. Mm-hmm. I don't know, guys. I think that situations like this, you can't have a blanket policy. You have to look at each situation as an individual situation and make up your mind from there. Because in some cases, it's such a slam dunk. The person did such mitigating factors to make sure that their boss would never be named in anything, never connection to them. They were really careful of that, right?
Right.
That it just sucks for people that everyone is always leaning in favor of the city.
Yeah.
It's always the city is suing so-and-so for speaking out. Yeah, well, why are they able to do that? I don't know. It just sucks.
Yes.
That's all I got to say.
That's all you got?
I'm done. I think, did we cover everything we said we were going to cover?
But
yes,
we definitely covered the most important thing, right? The most important thing was that RAD happened.
Yeah, RAD happened at a Anaheim Ducks hockey game wherein they beat the Tampa Bay Lightning,
which is an upset
in handy form, like 5-1.
Yeah.
And yes, it was a total upset.
So now that RAD happened, I can finally get some sleep and stop working so hard to make RAD happen. Good night, everyone.
Still a bye, RAD happened.
Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.